Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Rosenbaum. I am the owner, the designer, the creator, the artist of So Long Stitches LLC, which is a handmade wearable crochet business. Woo. So today I want to talk about taking your hobby to a business. All right, raise your hand if you're a perfectionist. Raise your hand if you are not necessarily scared of doing something new, but the idea of putting yourself out there in front of the world, ready for judgment, is a little daunting. I know exactly how you feel because that was me literally less than 3 months ago. So the journey from hobbyist or lover of hobbies, jack of all trades, to then being a licensed business owner is actually not as bad as you think it is. Let me hold your hand when I say this. You'll be okay, okay? I am not a lawyer, so take what I say with a grain of salt. My intent with this video is to share my journey from hobbyist to business owner. So step one, get out your head and lock in. So if you're an astrology girly, you know exactly what I'm about to say, but I have a Virgo rising with Chiron in my second house. So I personally know what it's like to get inside that noodle, ruminate, and then talk yourself out of a blessing. But I need you not to do that, okay? I need you to seek out a mentor, go on YouTube, pick up a book, ask somebody, hey, what do I need to do to start a business? Try your local entrepreneur center. There was a workshop literally like 2 weeks after I voiced I wanted to be a business owner on how to license your business. And from that presentation, I gathered information. I wrote literally every single word down and I continued doing my research. And that's the information I'm actually sharing with you today. Anything that comes to me for free, I want to make sure I give to y'all for free so that you understand how undaunting, if that's a word, creating a business can be. In terms of getting a mentor, if you are not surrounded by someone who has started a business before, go to www.score.com, like score, like you're keeping score, and seek out a mentor through their nonprofit organization. Their job is to literally help people start an entrepreneurial business. You can also go to the Small Business Administration website and look up the steps on how to legitimize your business if you're not wanting to seek out a mentor. All right, so step two, once you've gotten out of your head, you can now focus on how you want to structure your business. And there are 6 different ways you can structure your business. 1, you can be a sole proprietor. So a sole proprietor is someone who 100% is liable for their business. And when I say liable, I mean if something were to go down financially, you and your personal assets and your business assets are at risk. So like sole proprietorship is like your name is attached to your business in all way, shape, or form. When you fill out your tax returns as a sole proprietor, you are writing down all your business expenses on your personal tax return. Now, some people may like that because you don't really have to legitimize your business. And most people do that sole proprietorship. They do this structure because they think it's a daunting task to get started. But it's a very risky, in my opinion, business structure. Because again, it's your name attached to your business. And if something were to happen to your business, it's now impacting your personal assets as well. The next business structure is a partnership. So if you and let's say your best friend wanted to start a bakery, you too would be either equally liable for that business or a portion of the business would be spread apart between the two of you. And you can have multiple members in your business. It doesn't just have to be 2 people, but once you reach, I believe, 25, you have to then register as a corporation. But with a partnership, there's partial liability, full liability, like you kind of write an agreement on who does what role and how much percentage of the business that person takes. All right, number 3, a C Corp. The C in C Corp stands for conventional corporation. So think Starbucks, think McDonald's, think Burger King, like these are the big conventional corporations that we see out in the world. This is where you have shareholders. So there's a certain amount of people that have certain percentages of your company. and you are taxed twice. You are taxed on the shareholder side and on the corporation side. A C Corp protects you from liability. So this is when you are now separated from your personal assets. A C Corp is also where you can sell stock to raise money. And in a C Corp, the owner receives a salary. All right, number 4, an S Corp. S Corp stands for subchapter or small business corporation. And this is when it's very similar to like a partnership, but it maxed out at like 25 people. And now you have more than 25 people that want to partner with you. And in S Corp, it avoids the double tax. You track your earnings and your losses on your personal tax records. In an S Corp, the owner has to receive a salary, and the salary has to be before distribution, and the salary has to be a decent wage based off of how much money the corporation is making. The 5th business structure, and probably the most popular, is the limited liability company, and that is the LLC. So that's the option that I went with when I started my business. And an LLC is essentially your business assets and your personal assets are separated. So there's that legal protection of if someone were to wear like one of my garments and they had an allergic reaction to it and they wanted to sue me, they would be suing Solon Stitches. They would not be suing Taylor Rosenbaum. With an LLC, you monitor your taxes on your personal tax records and as a Schedule C. There's no limit on the amount of members that can be a part of your LLC. Now, personally, I'm a control freak, so I'm the only person on my LLC as of right now. The 6th type of business structure is a nonprofit structure. So this means your business is a part of the public. You don't receive a salary, and the only way I think you can earn money is through donations. And there has to be a board of directors because it's multiple people that are keeping track of the profits for the nonprofit. You technically do not own a nonprofit, and it's tax deductible. I forgot to also mention, have a business name. Think of that. I know that held me up for about a month. I was trying to just piece all the things I like together about myself and put it in a business name. But I ultimately ended up with Solon Stitches because I'm Black American, and crocheting, you create stitches, and I like alliteration. So business names are really important, and with your business name, you want to make sure that no one else is operating with that business name. So you can go to the trademark website if for federal coverage, and for your state coverage, you can go to like your Department of Revenue for your state and search business names there. Let's talk about the actual like registering your business. So before you can register your business, you have to have a physical street address. Now, I personally live in an apartment, and I did not want my business attached to non-permanent housing, let's say that, because I don't own an apartment. So I decided to go through UPS and get a physical street address. Now, this option does cost money. I believe it cost me around $200, and I went with like the lowest tier plan to get a physical street address. And you cannot use USPS, so you cannot use the United States Postal Service for a physical street address because they're only going to give you a P.O. box. With registering a business, it needs to be a legitimate street name, street number, suite number, city, state, zip code. So I went through UPS. And now you're going to actually take the street address and some money. In my state, it costs about $110. And you're gonna go to your state's Department of Revenue where you can register a business. And literally you can put like Illinois registering business, and it'll take you to the government website. That process, very simple. You put in like your personal information, and I was legitimized in like 3 days. Now, if you are selling like health products, beauty products, anything that people consume or put on their skin, like chemically, you have to get a license for that. So make sure you already are licensed. So for example, if you are selling baked goods, you wanna make sure you have like the food certification, the food licensing to show the government that you know how to handle food. Next thing you wanna do is get your employee identification number, which is your EIN, which is essentially the social security card or the social security number for your business. And that is free. You go to the IRS website once you have been legitimized, and you receive like your control number, And once you have your control number and the name of your business, you get the EIN, and that is what you need to legally, do your taxes and get certain tax exemptions. Now, you need to register with your state, annual registration with your state. That is for tax purposes. So I live in a state where there's a state tax and a federal tax, and they want to make sure you're in good standing. So the same website I use to register my business is the same website I use for my annual registration. And once you have all that done, you are now opening a bank account. Whoop, whoop, the money. So go to your local bank or the bank that you already bank with personally, ask them to open up a bank account. You're going to need 2 forms of identification, like the 2 big ones, your driver's license, your passport, your birth certificate, and the actual information from your business. So that certification of existence or that certification of organization. And you just open up a bank account, put some money in there, a little deposit, and you're set. Now you are legit. You see how hard that was? It wasn't. I got legitimized literally within a week of starting the process. It is not as scary as you think. It protects you legally from getting sued, and it keeps your money separate from, like, your business money separate from your personal money. If you don't want those 2 things getting confused, especially during tax season, I suggest legitimizing your business. If you would like the written version of the video that I just explained, be sure to go to www.sulonstitches.com and go to my blog post, From Hobbyist to Business Owner. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments how you legitimized your business, if you legitimized your business, or if you have any questions, further questions. Have a great day, y'all.